Hello, my name is Pooja. Welcome to another episode of Around the World. Last year, when the Taliban took over the government of Afghanistan, then most of the countries of the world were disappointed. They were concerned about the state of democracy in Afghanistan and what would be its effect on the minorities of Afghanistan. They were also concerned about the safety of women and children in Afghanistan. India was also among the countries which were concerned about Afghanistan. India was concerned for one more reason. In the last 2 decades, India had invested heavily in different projects in Afghanistan. India invested around $3 billion in education and the development of crucial infrastructures such as roads and buildings. But when the Taliban took control of Afghanistan, then India had to stop all its projects. Thereafter, it was assumed that all the investments made by India in Afghanistan became futile. But now the government of Afghanistan has appealed to India to complete all its incomplete projects. Taliban's political office chief Suhail Shaheen has informed that a Taliban delegation met the head of mission of the Indian embassy in Kabul and invited his team to provide support in completing the infrastructure projects in Afghanistan. According to media reports, India is going to work on 20 such projects in Afghanistan. India had recalled its officers when the Taliban seized power in Afghanistan. Then it was believed that India would lose whatever it had achieved in Afghanistan in all these years. But now, after this announcement of the government of Afghanistan, the increased distance between the two countries is expected to reduce. So, in today's episode, we will try to know about the meaning of this new initiative in India-Afghanistan relations. We will try to understand how important this initiative is going to prove for India. We will also discuss all these aspects in today's episode, but first of all, let us briefly understand the investments made by India in Afghanistan. India had made investments in Afghanistan for almost 2 decades. During this period, India invested in around 500 small and large projects, including schools, hospitals, health centers, children's hostels, and bridges. India invested heavily in the Parliament House, a symbol of democracy in Afghanistan, the Salma Dam and the Zaranj-Telaram Highway. India had invested $3 billion in this entire project. India supported the anti-Taliban resistance during the Islamic fundamentalist group's rule of Afghanistan between 1996 and 2001. After the fall of the first Taliban government in 2001, India gradually began to increase its influence to achieve political harmony in Afghanistan. But when the Taliban captured power in Afghanistan, India was forced to put its projects on hold. At this juncture, a pertinent question arises: what is the meaning of this new initiative made by Afghanistan? Actually, India has not yet recognized the Taliban government, but of late, there have been talks between the governments of the two countries. Indian embassy officials are now working in Kabul. But a significant question remains: what is the point of all these initiatives when India has not recognized the Taliban? It is being said that the only difference between the previous and the current Taliban regime is that the first Taliban regime was not recognized by any country. But Russia and China are recognizing the current Taliban regime. Both these countries are among the superpowers of the world. Therefore, it is believed that India must hold talks with the Taliban in view of its security and sovereignty. As per experts, India must hold talks with Afghanistan. It is believed that the more India delays talks with the Taliban, the more Pakistan will take advantage of it. Actually, the current Taliban is also being said to be different from the Taliban of 2 decades ago. After gaining power, the Taliban allowed women to work wearing hijabs instead of burqas. Taliban has also assured not to use its land against any country. The Taliban's stand is important from the point of view of India, as the Indian Airlines plane was hijacked and was taken to Kandahar in Afghanistan in 1999. Besides, the Taliban has also urged India to complete its projects in Afghanistan. Therefore, India holding talks with the Taliban is considered a better initiative. On the other hand, good relations between the Taliban and Pakistan have always prevented India from holding talks with the Taliban. However, experts are of the view that times have changed a lot now. The earlier Taliban was definitely under the complete control of Pakistan, but Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar Akhund has spent 8 years of his life in Pakistan's jail. Therefore, the relationship between the Taliban and Pakistan is no longer cordial. But all these issues should not be seen from only India's point of view. It also needs to be analyzed from the Taliban's perspective. Actually, there is a dispute between Pakistan and Afghanistan regarding the Durand Line, which is their borderline. When the Taliban returned to power in Afghanistan, Pakistan expressed hope that the Durand Line issue would settle down. On the contrary, the Durand Line issue intensified after the Taliban came to power in Afghanistan. In the initial phase itself, Afghanistan refused to accept the Durand Line. Pakistan keeps on erecting fences in some areas along the Durand Line, and the Taliban destroys these fences from time to time. Pakistan's Taliban Tehreek Party has been pressurizing the government of Pakistan to change its decision to merge the tribal areas into mainland Pakistan, which could give the Taliban a geopolitical advantage. The Taliban has been constantly trying to improve its relations with India for gaining more leverage over Pakistan. The Taliban is not only urging India to increase its role in the development of Afghanistan by resuming its developmental projects, but also seeking India's support in training Afghanistan's soldiers. After coming back to power, the Taliban have also expressed their desire to deepen diplomatic and commercial ties with India. For instance, the Taliban has endorsed the Chabahar port project in Iran as a platform for regional trade and connectivity. India has many vital interests in this region, ranging from connectivity projects in South and Central Asia to issues of energy security and terrorism. Afghanistan serves as a focal point in all these issues. Taliban has indeed gained strength only because of Pakistan's patronage, but the sentiments of Afghan people are against Pakistan. India should take advantage of this sentiment. Notably, the sentiments of Afghans are with India due to the works carried out by India in Afghanistan, and even the Taliban cannot afford to go against the sentiments of the majority of the citizens of Afghanistan. Now let's look at the question. After the change of regime in Afghanistan, it is necessary to negotiate with the Taliban for better Indo-Afghan relations. Critically analyze.